Hey everybody, and welcome to a Let's Look At that I've been very excited. I've been looking forward to for a long time. This is my Let's Look At of Crusader Kings 2, the Old Gods DLC, and now formally, officially, this is a Let's Look At of the DLC, but I didn't actually ever do a Let's Look At of the Crusader Kings 2 original release, because I didn't play it until like a year after it came out. But, you know, since getting introduced to it at ParadoxCon in Reykjavik back in January of 2013, this has gone on to become one of my favorite strategy games and a real obsession for me that has dominated a lot of my free time for gaming when I'm not covering other stuff for the channel. So I'm very excited to be able to do something that's relevant both to the channel and something that I'm going to have a lot of enjoyment out of doing. Now, Crusader Kings 2, I'll talk about that as we get in, but the Old Gods DLC just came out. It's 15 bucks, standalone, and what it basically does is it adds in the whole pagan civilization, for lack of a better word. So let's get started here and I'll explain what's going on. So this is both single player and multiplayer, but single player is definitely the focus, at least of this game. And it's a historical sandbox game is a good way to put it. Consider it almost like a historically accurate civilization. So right now, because I have the Old Gods DLC, the map that you can see in front of you is the way that Europe and, you know, North Africa and parts of Asia looked in the year 867. So this is a historically accurate as of, you know, day one of us starting. The actual standalone release of Crusader Kings 2, if you're familiar with it, starts in 1066 here. So you can see the world looks very different in 1066 as opposed to 867. So the DLC actually does change things to a marked degree, you know. Particularly over here in like Western Europe, you know, we have the Holy Roman Empire and France, and Spain looks a little bit fragmented. England actually exists, whereas if you go back to the Old Gods time, you know, England is totally fragmented. Spain is actually a little bit more unified under this like Arab empire here, and you know, Western Europe's a little effed up with West Francia and Aquitaine, etc., etc. But the most important thing that people are excited about for this DLC is the introduction of these pagan civilizations, which I will not even try to pronounce, but you can see them here. And this adds some new mechanics to the game as well. But without further ado, why don't we get started? This is going to be probably not that comprehensive of a look at the DLC, but hopefully a good overall look at the game in general. I'm going to play as West Francia, because King Charles the Bald, how could I not, right? I played a little bit as him last night. What I should point out here before we get started, if you're not familiar with this game, it is a grand strategy game. Like I said, historically accurate Civ. What's kind of interesting about it is that it's asymmetrical. You know, in Civ, everyone starts day zero. They all have equal opportunities to do well. That's not the way that it works in Crusader Kings 2 or any Paradox grand strategy games. You know, Italy is as strong as Italy was, you know, on January 1st, 867. Same, like Asturias. If they're really weak compared to this southern Spanish area here, then they might be overrun or it might be very difficult to play. So every person you play as, and you can play as, you know, even these are all kings so far, but we can maybe play as like a, you know, high chief over here if the civilization's a little bit different. I wonder what the pagan leaders are called. They're called chiefs as well. Okay, or, you know, you can play as dukes, counts, etc., etc. We could rule over a small duchy, or we could rule over an enormous kingdom like in the Holy Roman Empire. Anyway, so it's basically you set your own goals. Maybe, you know, in a Civ, you want to conquer the entire world. In Crusader Kings 2, you might say, okay, we're going to start as Asturias, and our game is going to be successful. Why not Navarra? That makes more sense. We're going to start as Navarra, which is probably fairly weak given that it's very small compared to the other areas in Spain right now. Or what will eventually become Spain, I should say. And all you want to do is survive. That's what we're going to do. We're going to maybe try to expand a little bit, and if we survive when the game ends, which I think is in like 1460 something or 1440 something, then that's a success for us. This is definitely not a game where your realistic goal is going to be conquering the world, unless you fall into a very specific skill bracket and you play as specific countries. But in any case, let's get started here. I'm going to play as West Francia because they're pretty interesting when we get started here. So this is going to load in, and this is a pausable real-time strategy game. It's different than basically anything I've ever played, but similar to all the other PDS Paradox Dev Studio titles. So we're starting at 867 here, and let's take a look at the interface here to explain what's going on. Right now I'm using the diplomatic map mode, which basically is the easiest way to look at things because all the countries are subdivided based on their colors, so it's really easy to tell what's going on. So, you know, we're probably going to be able to ignore basically everything east of East Francia here, and probably everything in North Africa. Spain we might have to pay attention to. England, probably not in this video, but anyway. So we're playing in West Francia here. Let's open up our diplomatic screen first off. We're King Charles the Bald. This is us. We're 43. We've got a spouse, and we can see our traits as well. This is very much a personality-driven strategy game. There's battles and stuff like that, but there's also a lot of internal politicking that you're going to want to do, like, who do I want my heir to be? What kind of traits do I want them to have? Maybe you have a kid. Maybe you have twins. Let's say your spouse has twin boys. One of these guys is going to become the king, but the other one might actually when you take over as the heir, might have a claim on your throne. So maybe you want to educate one of your sons with like the finest tutor's money you can buy, and one of them you want to basically give to the village idiot so that he's not going to have any ambitions when he grows older. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here because I'm very excited. So we can look at our traits. We're an indulgent wastrel, that's not good, but it has an effect on our diplomacy and stewardship. We're gregarious, good for our diplomacy. Humble, greedy, and deceitful. Doesn't really matter to me, but you might want to look into this stuff on, for example, your wife. Every character has a screen like this. So she's a mastermind theologian. You can see her learning is really good, but it does lower her fertility, I guess because she's religious. She's temperate, that's good for stewardship. Shy, which is bad for diplomacy. Envious, so she's not great for diplomacy, but she's got other things going on. Anyway, this is our son. This is our heir. Actually, this isn't our son. Oh, it is our son. He's the king of Aquitaine. What's actually interesting, if you die, you play as your heir, whether your heir is your son or, you know, your daughter or your uncle, nephew. Sometimes shit happens. Sometimes your king will die in battle, like I did when I played this last night. I ruled for like 15 days, and my king just died, and then I became King Louis the Stammerer, King Louis the Stammerer, I guess, who was the king of Aquitaine, but he's also the heir of West Francia. So it was actually a weird situation where when my king died, I started playing as this guy, and all of a sudden, this all became Aquitaine because he was the heir of this region, which is really cool. Sometimes your ruler dying can be a good thing. Sometimes your ruler dying can be a very bad thing if you have like a 4-year-old son as your heir. Prepare for a lot of civil war. Anyway, like I said, getting way too far ahead of myself. It's kind of like, you know, playing Dota, you can ignore a lot of the interface when you first get started. I'm still very much not an expert at Crusader Kings 2, but you can ignore a lot of this stuff when you first get started. First thing I'm just going to do is show you what's going on up here, though. So, we have weak claims that can be pressed, which means we can effectively, we have some kind of valid cause for attacking a certain province and taking it over for ourselves. So we can attack, if we wanted to, the Duchy of Barcelona. So Barcelona should be somewhere down here. Yeah, so we can claim the Duchy of Barcelona for ourselves because of some kind of blood relation, maybe. Yeah, for this person right here, who is our cousin. Anyway, that's not that important. What is important is to know that in Crusader Kings 2, I know we haven't gotten into gameplay in a while here, but you need a reason to attack people. You need to have a blood claim on their land so that you can rule it and attack them, or you need to have a holy reason, like maybe they're heathens and you can justify a crusade against them, or maybe you just use your chancellor and fabricated a claim on them so you can attack. So let me think about this for a second. First thing we're going to do is pick an ambition. So these are all things that are useful for us. So let's do this as if it was a walkthrough for the very basics of Crusader Kings 2. First thing I always do, pick an ambition. Easiest ambition to take if your ruler is already married is one of these ones like improved diplomacy, improved learning, improved stewardship, marital ability, etc., etc. So why don't we improve diplomacy? That's going to be easy for us. So once we do that, we'll get some prestige. Last thing before we actually start launching some attacks is this interface up here in the top right. This gold is our money. This crown is our prestige. We need prestige to wage wars, basically. You get prestige when you win wars, you lose prestige when you lose wars, and there's other kind of factors that factor into it as well. But, you know, oftentimes you're going to need like a couple hundred prestige to be able to declare war, otherwise it's just not allowed. This is our piety, which represents the favor that we have with the church. This is our demesne, I'm not going to pronounce it any more in this video. But this represents the size of our kingdom, so we currently have like 2 held lands. We can see we have the king of... Wait, what do we have here? Maybe I can't see. Anyway, we personally own 2 territories of 6 that we can hold. Once we have over 6, we can't tax them effectively, so we don't get very much money. And this is our realm size. This is the number of holdings, which are castles and cities, etc., that we have. It's not that important. And this is our score, which is our overall score in the game as generations progress. Okay, let's get started. So if I remember correctly, we're starting in West Francia here. I believe we have a holy claim on Brittany. So King Solomon of Brittany is chilling up here, and he is Catholic, I believe, but we might still be able to declare war on him. We can declare war on the de jure claim on Mortain. Where is Mortain? Right there. All right, so let's just do this way, and I'll explain how the military works. So I'm going to declare war. You can see that all of those conditions, if we just hover over it, it tells us why we can't do something or why we can do something. So let's do it. So we've declared war now. Now, because I am the world's greatest king starting this game, or I start in a very good position, I should be able to call in my allies, which might be able to help me here. So the relations that you have with other people, and this is the diplomacy screen right here, will affect how they react to you. So I've got a really good relationship with King Lothair of Lotharingia, which is like this brown kind of area over here. So sure, I'll call him into war. You don't always want to call people into war, because sometimes they'll claim your holdings, but anyway. We've got King Ludwig the German. Maybe he'll join us. Like I said, we've got a lot of great allies here at the start, and they're all pretty pleased with me. So we got kings of Italy and Bavaria, and the king of Aquitaine. Beautiful. So we've now gotten all of our allies involved in this war, and we'll see if they want to join us. And we're going to unpause in a second, I promise you. The last thing you want to do, you're in your military screen. You want to raise your levies. These are the ones that you hold. So we have like 400 troops. But we also want to raise all of the levies from our vassals, which are the kind of autonomous rulers underneath us. They're not always autonomous, but I believe they start autonomous in West Francia. And basically, because I'm bad at micromanaging, I'm going to move all of my troops to this one region here in Blois. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yeah, at least I'm not doing the Scandinavian areas. Then I'm going to unpause. So just by using the spacebar, we can unpause. And like I said, this is a pausable real-time strategy game. So there's their troops right there, by the way. So what I can do, I can, pause anytime I want to take as long as I want to make decisions. I can also crank up the speed. Usually I play on speed 3 or speed 4 for the most part. Okay, so the King of Aquitaine is going to send some troops our way to help us conquer this area. Unfortunately, the German is not going to. Neither is Lotharingia. And neither is Italy, and neither is Bavaria. That's okay, though. We've got more than enough. We could have done this solo very easily, but instead we're going to do it with the help of Aquitaine, I believe. So we can we get vision on our enemies at their borders, and if we have, like, spies there. But I'll talk about the council again in a second. That's something I should have done at the start of this video. But anyway, it's not necessary right now. All right, so just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to merge my selected units. This is the army of King Charles. It's got 4,736 men of various kind of composition. You don't really need to worry about this when you first get started. To a certain extent, a lot of the battles come down to, at least in the early game, come down to, bigger number beats smaller number for the most part. So this is also important to note, is this is our war score down here at the bottom, 0%. As we win battles and sieges, that will rise, and when it gets up to 100, they have no choice but to accept our demands, which in this case will be us taking over the county of Mortain, or Mortain, I guess, you can also sometimes get them to negotiate a peace earlier. So I'm trying to goad these guys into a battle, but obviously, the closer I get to them, the more that they are trying to run away. So I might be able to get engaged in a battle at some point here. I've received an offer to arrange marriage here. Sorry, I've got my cat is trying to eat my sweatshirt. I'm playing Crusader Kings 2, the Old Gods. Get out of here, you ding-dong. So yeah, I've got an offer to arrange marriage here, but I can't really deal with that right now. I try not to worry about that too much. So, I'm just trying to chase down this dude's army, because if I can chase down his army, then I can beat him in battle, and then he won't be able to, like, counter-siege when I'm sieging. I know it might seem silly right now. By the way, I'm constantly pausing and unpausing here, because I play it kind of like FTL, where you want to take a little time to manage yourself. Oh my god, stop biting my sweatshirt! Get out of here! I'm trying to conquer Europe! Ruka! Go, go, go! Go, go, go. Thank you. Okay. So we've got engaged in our first battle here. The easiest way to think about this is that basically we're just going to let these guys kind of smash into one another until the battle ends. And we can kind of see some more detailed stuff here. There's not really like Shogun-style managing within the battle. You just kind of watch it happen, basically. So you can slow it down and watch how it progresses, I guess. But we're just going to watch it unfold here. And I win. So you can see, there's the casualties. We lost 99 people. He lost 603. That's a pretty good battle for us. And now we're going to start sieging his territory, and just by defeating his army there, you can see that we have a 24% war score, which is pretty good. So we want Mortain. Let's start sieging Mortain, and I'll explain how the heck this works. It looks like Brittany, which is this light purple area, is involved in a lot of civil strife right now, too. It's losing territory to probably civil wars, which is maybe why their army was already kind of half defeated before we got there. So, oh, this is interesting. The king of the Magyars, Almos, has decided to settle down in the Carpathian Basin, making it the new homeland of the Magyar tribes. I've never seen that before. Again, this is all kind of like Old God stuff here. Where is the Magyars? I don't know where the Carpathian Basin is. This game is really good at teaching you geography, by the way, as well as older history. Or I guess it's not older history, but history of like the High Middle Ages. Okay, so let's explain what's going on here very quickly. I promise it'll move faster as we get through. I can't believe we're 15 minutes in already. But we're sieging right now. We can see this is the number of attackers, this is the number of defenders. Basic rules for sieging: if you have more attackers than they have defenders, it'll go. It might take a little while. The more attackers you have, usually the faster it goes. But you can see, time's going pretty quickly here. We're already like half a year into our game. And you know, this is a game that goes on for 600 or so years now, so 550 maybe. So these games can be long, despite the fact that time can move really quickly as well. Each game of Crusader Kings, I'd imagine, is at least 20 hours. I've never actually completed a game of Crusader Kings, because when things go badly, I just restart as a different country, because it's so different and so much fun to play as each different one. We could also do an assault, but this is going to cost us like 1,000 men, but it will drastically speed up the siege. I tend not to use those very often. Instead, we will kind of just let time go here. I don't know, these guys are fighting like some battles on my soil, which is fine. They're not really doing anything for us. And this is the other element, or doing anything against us, I should say. This is the other element of Crusader Kings 2, which makes things really interesting. And there's so much more to talk about that I have not even touched yet. This is the very basics. There is a talented town crier in Mortain who seems to be able to capture the attention of the peasant rabble in an instant with his commanding voice. You have studied his methods and the pitch of his voice closely. You expect to do better next time you have to address a large crowd of people. Gain 1 diplomacy. Beautiful. Those instances happen either randomly, or sometimes you can direct them, and oftentimes you will have a choice as to what to do, and there will be a trade-off. Maybe gain diplomacy, lose stewardship. Gain intrigue, lose learning, or something like that. So you can very much kind of control the attributes that your character has, or influence the attributes that your character has as things move onwards. Sometimes you just get unlucky though. Maybe you have a kid and that kid ends up being blind, or you know, maybe you have a great king but the king dies in battle valiantly, very unlikely. And then again, his like 8-year-old son has to take over, and maybe his son has like a regent who is making all the decisions because the kid's too young, and the regent wants to actually take power for himself. There's a ton of intrigue here. This has actually been described as, and I've never seen the show Game of Thrones, but it's been described as kind of Game of Thrones the game, which is great because there's a Game of Thrones mod for this that is critically acclaimed and allows you to play in that universe. Okay, here's part of what is new about the Old Gods. When you're not playing as a Viking tribe, maybe even if you are, Vikings will occasionally just raid your villages. So the dragon bows of long ships have been sighted off the coast of Bruges, which is up here, I guess. We control, I guess, parts of Belgium with West Francia. Under the fierce heathen Ake of Alfheimer, begin to pillage and loot the county. So we are going to send some troops up there to fend off that Viking invasion. So that's something that didn't happen in the, or doesn't happen, I guess, in the vanilla version of Crusader Kings 2. I hesitate to say vanilla because nothing about this game is vanilla. So let's create a new unit quickly. How many men are in this one? Like, not enough, 234. Let's move over another couple hundred. That's 600. Okay, that's perfect. So we'll create an army of King Charles II. Actually, I want King Charles II to be leading the siege, and then we'll have 455, 688. That's perfect. Okay, so now we have, it's very easy to kind of like split your army as time goes on. So we'll send this army up here to fight off this Viking invasion. Or I guess it's not necessarily Vikings, but pagan invasion. I'm wary about accidentally saying things the wrong way. We're actually fighting a peasant revolt right now, which has probably risen up in Mortain, but that's okay. We've got more than enough troops to handle it, and peasants are usually not very well trained. So, you know, follow our war score at the bottom. Our first goal here is just going to be to conquer Mortain and eventually make this King Solomon III of Brittany acquiesce and give us his holdings here, so that will grow a little bit larger, and we'll then add that to our dements. Again, not proper pronunciation. We just scared the Vikings away up there in the top right. Our daughter has now reached legal age, so maybe we could marry her off to a king somewhere and get an alliance, but anyway, that's neither here nor there for now. Let's just very quickly try to finish this off. We won another siege. We're at 58% war score. So if we offer him a peace, yes, he will accept our demands. Beautiful. So we gain 99.6 prestige, which we will use to launch further wars in the future, and we'll gain the county of Mortain. We hit yes, or we send it. We on pause. He will accept, and beautiful. We have won our war here. And we won the war, as you can see there. Beautiful. Okay, so now you can see Mortain has now become part of the glorious empire of West Francia. Let's do something else now. We can engage in battles all the time. I really get into the military aspect of Crusader Kings 2. I try to play it, or I tend to play it almost like a civilization and try to paint as much of the map as possible my color. Not necessarily the best way to play Crusader Kings 2. There's multiple ways that you can kind of enjoy yourself here. So let's kind of destroy our military. Not destroy, but unraise our military. Lower, I guess, technically. And in doing so, we won't pay any maintenance costs on them as well. I don't understand the economy system in this game. I've got like 50 hours in, and I still don't understand the economy system at all. Let's talk about imprisonment. So somebody's doing something here. Count Conrad of Troyes, he's our chancellor. Oh man, so let me talk about the council first. So this is our council. The council basically is your staff of advisors, and they allow you to accomplish certain objectives. Most important one, to me at least, at my level, is the chancellor, because what he allows you to do is fabricate claims. This is kind of dishonest first look at Crusader Kings 2, because when I first played, most of my experience was, I don't understand how to start wars with people. I can't start wars with people. What you have to do is you have to fabricate a claim or have a blood claim on them, or on their land, so that you can actually invade them. Otherwise, it's just, for whatever reason, maybe that's the way honor worked in the High Middle Ages or something. Anyway, you can't declare war on just anybody. You have to have a reason. But if you want a reason, but you don't have one, you can fabricate one. You have a certain percentage chance a year of fabricating a claim on a land. You can also use these guys to do other things like improve diplomatic relations. Our marshal, I usually have him research military technology somewhere. Our steward, I usually have him research economy technology in my richest province. Spy master, I usually have him study technology in an enemy province, maybe La Marche, which seems pretty strong. And court chaplain, good thing to do is actually have him I guess this isn't convert, but have him kind of like improve religious relations or convert the populace of lands that you conquer to your religion, and this will reduce revolts in the future. Hopefully that's an explanation. But anyway, it seems like Chancellor Count Conrad of Troyes has done something wrong. Am I in a war right now? Who am I fighting? Lothair? Oh, that's my peasant revolt? I had no idea. Alright, well I guess I need to re-raise my military, but okay. Our Chancellor anyway has done something wrong. He's the leader of some kind of plot. Maybe he was a plot to kill me or my wife. We can try to imprison him, and you can see we have a 59% chance of success based on our state intrigue, which is influenced by our own intrigue stat and our spy master's intrigue, etc., etc. And since we have evidence that he's the leader of the plot, no one will object. Let's give it a try. Alright, so we failed to conquer him, and this is what happens when things go wrong. So now I'm fighting two wars at the same time. Civil strife is as much of a danger as like external strife. Like you're not only fighting other countries, you will have tons of revolts within your countries as well. This guy's on my side. I'm pretty sure this is like an autonomous vassal. Sometimes it can be confusing. So now I'm fighting these peasants, and not to be derisive, but they are peasants, like literally, and I'm just going to appoint a new chancellor here, sure, and why don't you fabricate a claim further in Brittany, because I want to get this entire peninsula here up in my delicious purple color. So I'm fighting now a war against these peasants, who will almost certainly kind of acquiesce as soon as I destroy them, like wipe out this army. And then I'm fighting a war against this Count Conrad, who has now kind of tried to go independent with his region of Troyes here. Again, apologies for the awful pronunciation there, I'm sure. So again, we raise our military. This is actually a good example of how to deal with kind of civil disobedience here, at least in the Crusader Kings universe. So we're going to first send like a half a squad over there, and we'll take the rest of our squad, and again, you know, bad at strategy games, so I tend to just click drag, and we'll move them kind of back here so that they'll be ready to kind of become one large fighting force and then start sieging the territories in here. He should not have too many troops unless he starts getting other people to join his cause. So all these things that you see up here are things that you can basically ignore unless you're really hardcore into the game. People are dying, you know, things are happening, there's battles happening within our realm somewhere, but it's not 100% relevant. Alright, so let's create our army here. We'll merge these, and then we'll try to intercept these guys in Mortain, which is where I think they're going. Yes, so we should be able to wipe out the peasant revolt here, if I had to guess. Although, actually, I might lose this one, in which case I want to kind of send these guys in to kind of reinforce halfway through the battle. Oh my god, I kind of got my ass kicked there. Why are these peasants so strong? In fact, maybe this will not be enough to defeat them either. Maybe we'll send the whole shebang here to wipe them out in hopefulness. Because these peasants are apparently very well trained, but now I've overwhelmed them. Okay, so they've basically died. The leader of their revolt was now captured in battle. Oh, it wasn't the leader. It was just one of like the notable figures. If you capture the leader of a revolt or of a war against you in battle, then instantly you get 100% war score, and you can just ask for whatever you want, because otherwise you can just execute them. There's a whole system with imprisonment that I'll try to get into over the course of this video. Anyway, we got 51% war score. What do these guys even want? Enforced demands. I guess my demand is I imprison him. I could offer white peace, which just means everything goes back to normal. But I'd rather make sure this doesn't happen again. So I'm going to try to make sure that this guy kind of gets wiped out. And then I can focus on my other internal battle. Okay, so we've got more Vikings coming in. This is the thing in Crusader Kings, man. You always want to focus on one thing, but you can't focus on one thing because just constant kind of factors making it impossible. Okay, so we've wiped out the army. Now we can enforce demands. He'll become our prisoner. We can use these prisoners to get more money in the future. I will definitely talk about the prison system. Alright, so we've destroyed him. No problem. Now let's send this army down here to siege here, and once we get 100% war score against this guy, he'll give the F up, and we can start focusing on something else, perhaps. I don't even know. Is this his army here? It is. Oh, okay. We might as well just head them off. We have double their men, so keep in mind up here we're also trying to deal with this Viking threat. Not all, oh, I wonder where he went. Oh, he's here. Why are we not fighting this dude then? This is weird. I guess we're like, he's sieging because we're allied or something. Are we gonna fight these Vikings? Get down here to Dogtown, man. Keep in mind, not all regions or characters that you play as are going to be this militaristic either. Not even close, actually. For example, if you want to play, if you wanted to, maybe you want to come into Eastern Europe here and you want to play as, it's a good one. Maybe you want to play as Torquay. You want to be Count Borel of Torquay, and again, maybe your hope is just surviving. So what do? Maybe you make like an awesome daughter and try to marry her off to like the King of Hungary or the Prince of Hungary or something, so that maybe they'll defend you if Bulgaria tries to come in. There's a lot of, diplomacy that you can do as well. I just picked kind of a more militaristic nation so that I could, maybe enjoy some militaristic stuff. And it's also easier to demonstrate kind of what makes Crusader Kings fun in that sense, I think. So we're going to start sieging down here. We should take our other army. By the way, I know there's people watching this that are going to be amazing at Crusader Kings, and they're going to point out a ton of mistakes that I'm making. Doesn't matter, man. You can't dull my vibe on this game. I am a huge, huge fan of Crusader Kings 2, and it's got a very high learning curve, which is partly why I'm doing this video, in the hopes that people who do not know Crusader Kings will look at this and be like, you know what, I can emulate what you're doing. Because it is, like, the strategies that you have in the game, to a certain extent, there is, like, and I wouldn't necessarily say random number generation, but there's some randomness, like maybe your leader dies and you get a bad leader in your next one and things become much harder. But a lot of it is totally, like, emulatable, if that's even an actual word. Imitatable, maybe, is a good way to put it. If I've got a strategy and you follow it to a T, you're probably going to have exactly the same thing. So we siege Sen's Fortress here, I guess, every city usually has like 3 holdings that you have to siege, but it depends how, what's a good way to put it? It depends how developed the city is, I suppose. And I think after, oh, wait a minute. Raiders under Sigurur of Farirur have arrived to loot and pillage in King Charles the Bald's county of Gwyn's. Well, we'll take care of that. This guy's gonna get to war score 100 or like 75 pretty soon. He's not gonna be too happy about it because we're gonna have to like imprison him. When that's going to be one of our demands. In fact, possibly our only demand. But once the Civil War's over, I think what I'm going to try to do is show off like the intrigue and diplomacy situation, and I'm going to try to murder the King of Aquitaine, in, Game of Thrones style, apparently, or the Tudors style, in the hopes that we'll inherit all of Aquitaine. That's an easy way to get land. Sometimes it's just easier to kill a king that you have, you're the heir of, as opposed to actually fighting one by one and taking these counties. Anyway, we'll deal with that when we come to it. By the way, people are plotting against me right now, by the way. So our vassal is like, dude, please let this guy out of prison. Absolutely not. That affects his opinion of me, but I'm fighting a war right now. I'll deal with prisoners later. But yes, as we speak, people in my realm, AI-controlled douchebags, are organizing claims on me. They're probably trying to get people together to like poison me so that especially like my brother or my son King Louis the Stammerer is probably trying to get an assassination plot on me so he can get all of my land. So there's a lot of like backstabbing behind the scenes going on here. I'm not being a total dickbag, or perhaps more accurately, you have to be a total dickbag in order to succeed. Okay, so this guy's offered us peace. What is it? He loses 100 prestige, I lose 100 prestige, and my opinion of him improves decline. As soon as I take this, he's probably gonna come back with another peace offer. It's almost like deal or no deal. After a successful siege, your men drag Welf out of his hiding hole. Off to the dungeons with him is my only option. Who is Welf? He's 22. All right, sure. Off to the dungeons with him. I don't exactly know why he's noteworthy, but obviously he is. If the game felt fit, it was fitting to give me a prompt. I would also love to have a little bit of peace so it could kind of demonstrate the peacetime shit, because there's a lot of stuff you can do during peacetime in this game as well. It's not merely like war all the time. So let's try to fight the army that this guy has down here. It's not even like sieging my holdings. I'm not sure what's up with that. Do I actually fight it here? No. This is weird. I don't know what's going on with this. But in Crusader Kings 2, if you don't know what's going on, sometimes it's in the best interest to just be like, you know what? Fine. We'll wait on it. Everything will work itself out. Okay, so we got some more character dialogue here. Work can be tedious, and when one problem is solved, another one pops up. I tire of having to complete the same tasks over and over. We have 2 options. Let someone else do this, which will make us become slothful, which obviously has a pretty terrible effect on our character. But sometimes you want to give yourself negative traits for reasons that are kind of difficult to explain outside of the scenario. Or we can give ourselves diligent. 45% chance we get diligent. Let's take that. Good, we got the diligent trait. That gives us a bonus to all of our attributes. So after we siege this last territory, which should take about 4 seconds here. Oh! Wait, I gotta read this. My liege, good news. During my mission to Paris, I happened to meet the noble Baron Bernard of Montfort-l'Amoureux. After promising him not to divulge any of the information outside the realm, he decided to share with me some of the military advancements he had implemented in the past year. Enclosed with this letter is a document describing them in great detail. Exciting! Gain 50 military technology points. That's awesome. This is a good marshal who is like our military leader. So yeah, that is like the reason we send our council out there, because occasionally they will accomplish some really, really great things like that. I might not get a chance to talk about the technology system, but the technology system in Old Gods is more Europa Universalis. It is not similar very to the technology system in Crusader Kings 2, which I don't think even existed. Basically, we accrue military and economic and civil technology points, and then we can use those to kind of advance our technology, which I think is a necessity based on the fact that the game is, 600 years long now as opposed to, I guess, like 400. Like I said, the Crusader Kings 2 vanilla version starts around 1066, the Battle of Stamford Bridge, when England is in turmoil. Okay, so we should have 100 war score. We do. This guy's complaining about his dark cell. We can do things that will really destroy our diplomacy, but give us some perverse pleasure, but we're gonna let him rot. Everyone's complaining. Let him rot. Okay, so let's enforce our demands here. Sorry about that, Count Conrad. You are fucked. He is now in our prison. We can finally... Do we have Vikings in our territory? No. Alright, good. By the way, love the music in this game. It will get repetitive if you play as much as you probably will if you get addicted to it. But really, really good. And there's actually music DLC as well. This game has a lot of DLC, which might strike you the wrong way, but it's usually pretty cheap. But it's things like Nordic faces, like Arabic faces, Byzantine faces, Dynasty shields. So you want more Dynasty shields? Sure, it exists, man. I'm just gonna take a sip of my coffee and think about what to do next. This is very much that kind of game. Alright, so we've shown off war, we've shown off some civil strife. Let's show off some... First off, let's show off prisoners, and then let's show off some behind-the-scenes diplomacy and intrigue. So, on our intrigue menu, we can go to our prisoners. We have a known plot as well. What is this? Kill Count Gosford of Maine. Was it the leader of this? We can maybe get her to end this plot, which I just want to do. Okay, yeah, you end your plot. Alright, let's go back to the intrigue menu. We got prisoners. We got people that actually have fairly decent opinions of us. It ranges from -100 to 100, so this is actually not too bad. And there's several options for each prisoner. We could release them from prison, which would be real nice. We could banish them, which usually means we'll get some gold, although this guy, I guess, has no money, because he's lowborn. We could ransom prisoners, 70 gold. Although we can't ransom this guy, because we'd have to ransom him to himself, so we could probably banish this guy. He's going to be pissed, but we're going to get 30 gold, which is pretty awesome. And he'll never be able to come to our realm. So there we go, we got another 60 gold there, which actually will allow me... Can I imprison him again? Wait a minute. I don't want to fight him again. You know what, Count Conrad? You can go free for now. Maybe I shouldn't have let him out of prison, but in any case. We can also execute in prison, which will piss people off, including the church. But, we can't... sure, let's just banish him. I don't want him in my prison anymore. He's never going to have any money. How about this guy? Banish in prison. Sure, get the fuck out of my realm. Alright, so we've dealt with our prisoners. Now, let's show about some behind-the-scenes stuff. Like I said, if we look at our... Oh, actually, we are not the heir of Aquitaine anymore. If I look at this, let's find our king of Aquitaine. Is that you? No. King Louis the Stammerer. His heir is now my grandson, who's 6 years old. So I guess I stalled too long and he had a kid, which is unfortunate. So I might actually have to take Aquitaine by force. I think you actually have, as King Charles, you have like a claim on Aquitaine. Let's see if I could just declare war on my own son if I wanted to. It's kind of shit that happens in this game. Yeah, we could claim Aquitaine by ourselves if we wanted to and get into a big fight here. Do we really want to get into that military side of it? We probably don't have time. But suffice it to say, if I was going to play the rest of this game, given that these counties are kind of like fractured up here, I wouldn't be too worried about military action from them. So I can kind of leave them from now. Or what I could even do is be like, hey dude, are we cool? We're sort of cool. I could offer him vassalization, which means he would just become part of our empire. But we need him to be at peace, which he is not really. And these guys are not happy about becoming a vassal right now. Probably because they have different religion, I think. I can't tell. Maybe I can look at it here. What is your religion, my friend? I can't actually... Norse. Okay, so he's Norse. We're Catholic. That doesn't mix. Maybe this Brittany wants to become a vassal now. No, he's not at peace. Alright, anyway. So this would probably be what I would do next if I was playing this game for real. I would try to actually conquer Aquitaine. But let's show a little bit more of what you can do behind the scenes during peacetime. So... first thing we might want to do is click to choose a plot here, and we can see what do we want. There's many opportunities. Maybe we want to get... This is a good option for us, actually. Let's kill Prince Louis of Aquitaine so that we become the heir of Aquitaine again. Aquitaine Hunger Force. Get it? Anyway. So this is kind of an interesting system. Basically, the plot power right now is 37.6%. It's very unlikely that this plot is going to go through and he's actually going to have an assassination attempt. So what we want to do is invite other people in our court to the plot, and each person has a thumbs up or a thumbs down indicating their willingness to get involved, and also a percentage. So if we invite this dude, he's got like a 10% chance, so that'll bump us up a little bit. We can invite this dude. He's got another 9% chance, so we might be able to make something happen here. It's important to note that in Crusader Kings 2, very little happens instantly. Sometimes things take 6 in-game months, which again, depending on the speed you play on, could be a long time or just a matter of a couple minutes. And sometimes they take years of planning. Sometimes things happen quickly, but like your king suddenly dying in battle or something like that. But oftentimes they take a while. So we got, oh, this dude, our spy master has 50% and he's psyched. And everyone has ambitions, by the way. Like every character is their own kind of autonomous person. So you got to manage like the military side in almost a civvy way, but also the personal side. So we want this guy to be psyched about us because he's a good spy master, and he wants to get married. He's 40, he's never been married, he has no kids. What should we do? Maybe we'll arrange marriage. Why can't we arrange marriage? Probably because he's considering an invite to join the plot. So let's unpause for a second. Okay, they are indeed backing our plot. This is good. You can see how long it'll take them to accept, by the way. Why are these guys here? They're fighting some kind of, again, like petty war here that I don't really worry about. Good, they're all joining my plot. Fantastic. This guy's going to answer in 4 days. Prince Louis of Aquitaine's not looking good. Oh, yes, okay, so he did, or she did get rid of her plot from earlier. That was from like 10 minutes ago. All right, everyone's joined. Let's arrange a marriage for this guy since he was nice enough to join our plot. So, you know, all of these people, all of these girls here are our sister. They're all princesses. I don't necessarily want to marry this dude to a princess because then their kids might have claims on my land. So we'll marry him to Alex. How's Alex looking? She's a thrifty clerk. That's good for her stewardship and fertility. She's scarred. It's cool, though. Dudes dig scars. She's a hunter. She's cruel, arbitrary, paranoid, and humble. And her aim is actually to get married. These other guys, they want to get married, but they want to marry a ruler. So maybe the next thing I want to do is marry these off to like influential kingdoms over here so that I have allies that I can call next time I get into a war. But anyway, we'll marry him off to Alex. He's going to be super psyched about that. Let's check out our plot quickly. All right, so our intrigue is at 150%. That means at some point, probably within the next 10 minutes of this video, there's going to be an attempt on his life. It might succeed, it might not. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But anyway, that's how you would like issue a plot in Crusader Kings 2. If you can't get to 100, it's going to be very unlikely that the plot is going to succeed. What I'm going to do now is just kind of let some time go here. We've only played for 3 in-game years, which is a fraction. Thank you for accepting the marriage proposal. Literally a fraction of the time that the average game will take. A very, very small fraction. In fact, we have accomplished basically nothing except taking 1 territory here. This guy keeps wanting to arrange some marriages. Who are you? You are the king of Asturias. You want to marry Prince Roytrid with King Alfonso? That's beautiful, sure. You can get married to the king of Asturias. That might be a powerful ally, or maybe he'll end up having a claim on my land and he'll invade me, and that will be what causes the death of me. So I'm just kind of letting some time go by here, and then I'm going to demonstrate some peacetime intrigue that you can actually do. Steward Count Eudes has some interesting ideas on how to improve the economy. Adopt his ideas, costs us some gold, gives us some extra economy technology spread rate. I don't really know what effect that has on us, but we've got money to spare, so it's worth it. Let's keep letting this go onwards here. My liege, the people of La Marche. Okay, so basically we got new technology from La Marche. I hope we get to see the technology system. Oh, we do! That's awesome. Okay, so this is new in the Old Gods. There actually is kind of like a tech tree similar to something like Europa Universalis, or again, superficially to Civ. So what we can do, we can invest in like military advancements, which as you can see have certain effects there. But I usually like to get a lot of money in Crusader Kings, so I'm going to try to invest... Oh, I can't actually invest in money. I can only invest in military right now. Okay. Let's invest in... maybe cavalry would be good. That would be good as we move into the late Middle Ages, I guess. I'm talking out of my ass, by the way. So that's all we can do right now. We put 1 point in cavalry. That gives us an extra bonus on our horses. Beautiful. Okay, so once we hit May, I'll demonstrate some of the kind of cool kingy stuff you can do. Because, you know, it's not always, just fighting wars and stuff like that. Sometimes you want to just hold a summer fair or hold a feast or a grand tournament or something. So again, that's accomplished through our intrigue menu here. At some point, there will be an attempt on his life. I guarantee it. Why don't we hold a summer fair? So each one of these things, go on a grand hunt, hold a feast. They have conditions, but we match all the conditions for the summer fair, which is we're at peace, we have enough gold, we're not a prisoner, and the month is between May and August. So let's start it. And this will allow us to get some good prestige gains as well as some cool kind of instances. So like I said, sometimes those events or encounters will just happen randomly, and sometimes you can do something like this to force them to happen a little more often. So, the local nobles of Paris complain about too many peasants entering the city during the summer fair. We can tell them to accept the peasants, which will annoy our mayor, but he's psyched because I think we just married him off. Or we can restrict the peasants' access, which will cause increased revolt risk. You know what? Get okay with it. Marshal Baron Bernard caught the peddlers selling stolen goods red-handed. We can execute them, which gives us minus revolt risk, but a chance to be gain the trait Cruel, which is not necessarily a bad thing and increases our intrigue. Or we could just seize his goods and lock him up. You know what? 15 gold, that pays for the whole summer fair. Let's do it. Even if the church frowns upon jugglers and calls them gleemen, I enjoy their humorous and bawdy acts during the summer fair. Why not this one? We'll lose piety to gain some extra prestige. The summer fair's archery contest went well. The clout and the space around it was filled with arrows. Some of them had hit the bullseye, some of them had missed the clout altogether. The winner was a modest man who disappeared rather quickly after he collected his prize, so maybe that's suspicious, which makes us paranoid. Again, that's good for our intrigue. So he was a good archer, that's good for our intrigue diplomacy. Find and arrest that man, or good archer that man, which just changes their opinion. So, you know, there's a lot of different options, and each one has different opinions. I'm going to gain the trait Paranoid, because I actually want that. And the summer fair might be over in a couple months here. Again, we get more technology points here, which is why you want to use your council. The technology system is still basically totally foreign to me. You're going to get the instances, a lot of the same ones over and over. You just kind of get used to it after a while. It's still, you use those to accomplish ends, basically. Raiders under Snorri of Hordaland have arrived to loot in Santon. Is that... Where is that? Oh shit, they're in Paris. How did they get to Paris? Okay, I'm just gonna move faster here for a second. Sure, accept the peasants. He's a good archer. He shouldn't have hurt that poor creature. Good, okay. Where the fuck are these Vikings? I hate... To a certain extent, I hate having like large kingdoms because I can't manage them all effectively. Okay, there's our Vikings. So you know what? We'll raise our own military here, or we'll just raise our vassal levies and we'll fight them fairly easily. In fact, we can probably do it with just this dude right here. And we're gonna continue letting time go on here. I hope this fair gets over soon because oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, this is good. This is our assassination attempt coming through. So my co-conspirator, Count Pear, has bribed a hunter taking Prince Louis on a trip into the wilds to quietly dispatch the child and make it look like an accident. So we'll see if it works. I've approved the plan. We got defeated in the Battle of Saint-Denis. Can we go to that? Where is that? Saint-Denis is somewhere up here. I can't really see it because I've got so many troops in the area. That's fine. I don't expect that battle's going to have a huge impact on things. Let's keep going here. Oh, you're running away from me. That's a complaint people have about Crusader Kings a lot of the time. Oh, this is a good one. The church preaches celibacy, and my friends try to lure me into hedonism by showing me the pleasures of life. I can't really decide if I want to enjoy life or wait for heaven. So we can go to even be... Basically, we can increase our fertility plus 20%, probably get a lot of kids. Sounds like a good thing. Or, I hope celibacy doesn't bore me too much. This will increase our piety and lower our fertility. You know what? We've already got a couple of kids, so I'm going to try to become more celibate. Having a lot of kids might not be... the worst idea, but it can be sometimes if they end up getting a bunch of land each and then they all have claims on your kingdom, and then your king dies and you have an F-ton of civil war. So again, we're going to try to head off these Vikings. Okay, the fair's over. We gained some more prestige, which is good. I can't catch these Vikings. Oh, we succeeded with the plot to kill Prince Louis of Aquitaine. So that's how intrigue works. I could not have picked a better example. Beautiful. And no one ever found out. That's awesome. Now, we might be able to execute something amazing. So we might be the heir to the kingdom now, unless he has another kid. He has another kid! Okay. We could actually just, if we want to do things the quick and dirty way, we might be able to just send an assassination attempt on him. So this will cost us 350 gold. That's a lot. We have a 31% chance of success and a 39% chance of being discovered. I don't know if I want to take those odds. What we might want to do is actually go into our intrigue menu again and try to kill... Yeah, we're going to kill this other grandson here. And I was originally getting ready to kind of stop the video, but now I want to continue this moving forwards because I think it would be awesome if we're able to actually kind of get a claim on Aquitaine, or not get a claim, but kind of like from behind the scenes take over this entire area because that's super cool. This is what Crusader Kings 2 is all about. This is where a lot of the fun happens. So we're going to invite these two dudes, see if we're over 100%. I'm not sure if it matters how much over 100% you actually are. We'll see, though. We're sieging something. I don't even know what's going on. Oh, it's this one up here. These douchebags. We take our big army here and fight them. The Vikings are both annoying and kind of awesome. I'm really glad that you constantly have to deal with this kind of... Oh, thank you very much for backing my plot. I'm really glad that you have to deal with these, but at the same time, sometimes I'm like, Vikings, just chill out, man. I'm okay. This is my favorite song in Crusader Kings, by the way. We got 110% power. We should be fine. No one man should have all that power. We're going to kill another 4-year-old son, and then we'll try to assassinate the king. And if this works out, this might be actually the greatest thing I've ever accomplished in Crusader Kings history. My Crusader Kings history, at least. Because everyone's going to be different. Like, the way they describe this game, it's a historical sandbox. And that's definitely the most accurate way to describe it. Let's try to get these guys in, like, a pincer attack here. It's definitely the most accurate way to describe it. It's going to be different for everybody. You can do whatever you want. Some people play this game, they don't even want to conquer the world, man. They just want to get involved in these politics. Maybe they want to actually destroy the area they took over. In terms of Paradox grand strategy games, though, Crusader Kings 2 is, in my opinion, the best jumping in point. Victoria 2 oftentimes is a little bit incomprehensible because there's not a whole lot of war, which, you know, for one reason or another is a really easy kind of transition factor, something that makes a transition from something like Civ to Crusader Kings easier. Civ to Europa Universalis, which is another kind of recommended path that people take sometimes. I can't tell what the F is going on up here. I'm gonna just destroy this dude. Hopefully we won another battle. I just want to get these Vikings the F out of my country is what's happening right now. I don't know, where are they now? I think maybe they've taken off. Beautiful. I don't want to get rid of my armies yet, though. Let's see if we can invite some more people onto this intrigue. We're actually losing some plot. Oh, but these people are now totally into it, which is awesome. Basically, what I'm hoping to get across with this Crusader Kings 2, the Old Gods look at, is like, okay, here's what's new about the Old Gods to the best of my knowledge, because it's a dense game. 90% of the features, well, maybe not 90, probably like 30% of the features in Crusader Kings 2 I've barely touched. I don't know jack shit about religion. There's like a whole religion tab. We can appoint successors, and we can like excommunicate people from the church. I don't know what's going on with that. It's like to conquer people. But this is an incredibly dense game, and a game that people who get into it get way into it. Ask somebody who plays a lot of Crusader Kings about Crusader Kings, nobody goes like, yeah, it's good. People are like, oh shit, dude, let me tell you this awesome like emerging gameplay story of how like I had twin girls, and then one of them was supposed to be the princess, but then she got murdered by like a rival, it's someone who had a claim on my kingdom, so then the dumb daughter rose to power, and her regent was bribed by this tribe, and then my whole country fell apart from the inside out. It's awesome, man. By the way, Crusader Kings 2, we should talk about prices. Again, I mentioned Old Gods is, okay, yes, we're gonna kill the dude. Old Gods is $15 standalone. Sure, I'll find her someone nice to marry. Old Gods is standalone, $15, and Crusader Kings 2 is normally $40, but it goes on sale all the time. So if you're wary about jumping into the series, you know, fair enough. This is a game that is not for everybody. It has a high learning curve. Vikings have invaded again. It has a high learning curve, but not as high as you might expect. Not as high as you might have heard, even. Where are these Vikings? There's so many fucking, like, crests in my area. I can't... Is this... Okay, that's the Vikings right there. Yeah, it's not as hard to get into as you might think about. It's all, like... You know, you just gotta take manageable pieces of it, and then it'll become easier and easier. And then eventually you'll find yourself like, oh shit, it's like 5 in the morning, and I've conquered this area, but I can't go to work tomorrow. I'm skipping through a lot of these instances, by the way, because I don't know if it's necessary to talk about them. People are asking me to, like, fight in wars with them or arrange marriages, but I'm ignoring that for now, because I just want to focus on getting Aquitaine, which has now been, like, subdivided into, like, 3 different areas. Does this guy still have... What's his heir doing? Prince of Aquitaine? Sure, yes, okay, I still want him to die. Let's put it into perspective right now. What am I doing? I'm fabricating a claim, or I'm creating an assassination attempt to kill my grandson. Pretty bad. Looks bad on me, right? But at the same time, it's the second grandson I've tried to kill. I killed the first grandson totally fine, but the second grandson just doesn't want to go, apparently. We'll probably have an assassination attempt sometime soon. I'm going to try to keep this to under an hour, because I could just play this game all fucking day if I wanted to. Or if I could, I guess. So I'm looking at the King of Brittany again. I think he's involved in a war, so I can't actually invite him to be a vassal. But I do want to make these guys vassals. They're not happy about it. Maybe if I improved... You know, you can improve your... the way people think about it. You can send him a gift. We can send this dude $32, and then we'll see if maybe he's excited about that. Maybe he wants to be a vassal now? No. Alright, my bad. Total waste of money. Dragon Bows have been sighted in Vexen. Again, we'll look in closely to see where the heck that is. Is that this... How did you get there? Oh, by the way, this is new in Crusader Kings as well. Or, sorry, in the Old Gods as well. The rivers, basically, are new. There didn't used to be these rivers, and I believe they can only be traversed by Viking longboats. So, basically, this allows Vikings to kind of, like, come up these rivers and, like, pillage coastal cities. In fact, I should have done a Let's Look at here as a Viking civilization, because they have some really cool stuff. You know, I was talking about, like, how you have to have a claim on an area to declare war? Well, Vikings automatically get a claim, or at least a casus belli, which basically allows them to attack. on any coastal province. So they can be at war constantly, and in fact, they lose prestige, which again is important here, if they're not at war constantly. So I guess it totally changes the way you play the game, but I have not really played the game as a Viking yet, so I didn't want to necessarily do that. My vassal, Duke Bedouin of Flanders, has requested that a lower-ranked vassal should serve him rather than me directly. So we could give him a vassal. Let me think. Denied, or I like my other vassal better. That's interesting. I think how about denied? We'll just keep it simple for now. I really just want to kill this kid, and then we can make something better happen in the future. Okay. I'm afraid that the faction faction I must represent must insist on elective monarchy. We are fully prepared to take up arms should you refuse, and rest assured we have enough men to justify our demand. Do I want elective monarchy? Fuck no. Because then, like, I'm not going to have a claim. Like, my kids are not going to automatically become kings, which obviously I want. I will not be blackmailed here, which probably means I'm going to have to fight these guys in a civil war. Oh my god, I am. Which is so shit. Look at my country has become so divided now. All I want to do is kill this little child. We still have enough power to do so. But if I just kill this grandson, it's all good. So now I've got to get into like a fucking war with these guys. And that's going to be a total pain in the dick. So what I'm going to do here, sometimes you want to speed up wars. It's in your best interest to hire mercenaries. They're expensive. Very expensive, in fact. So we'll just hire some fairly cheap ones here. They have a monthly cost associated with them as well. But yeah, we're just going to hire a bunch of mercenaries, and we're going to use these mercenaries to effing wipe out the whole civilization here. So we're going to send like one army here. Our mercenaries can go there, and our armies that are not the mercenaries, maybe we'll just have them consolidate here, because again, there's just too much shit to manage right now for me to know what's up. Alright, so let's get into this battle quickly. Mostly, again, I just want to kill this grandson. Is that so much to ask? I think they're going to try to reinforce their armies here, so I should send this guy in here. These guys are still walking. These guys are in for a rude awakening. We're already at -4 war score, but that'll change, I promise. So let's start sieging. We created, like, accidentally fucking Flanders up here, an independent Flanders, much to my chagrin. I was gonna say surprise, but I'm not that surprised. I'm mostly just pissed off. Alright, our war score is coming back into the positive. Their army has been, you know, fairly trounced, I would say. We're already at +3%. These guys, we'll have them all kind of meet up here. And yeah, all you guys go here, and you just keep sieging there. Alright, so we should be able to do this, and in the meantime, you know, this is Crusader Kings. You're gonna have to get involved in this, like, civil strife all the damn time. Sometimes, oh, that's not good. Run away. Sometimes, no, I want you to run away the other way. These guys are gonna catch you, and that's not gonna be good for me. Oh, they caught him. Well, maybe we'll get lucky and just win the battle. We got another 200 men to reinforce here. We're not winning this battle. We're getting our shit rocked, actually. So we're gonna lose like 1,000 men. Maybe we can have these 3,000 men come in here and fight it. To the most part, or for the most part, I should say, the military aspect is actually pretty simple. It's really easy to get a grasp on, is maybe a good way to put it. You know, sometimes things can go wrong. I might actually end up losing this battle as well. Like, that green and red bar indicates how close we are to losing. As long as we're dealing damage to their troops, I kind of don't care. But who's unmarried? Our heir is unmarried. Okay. That means he's getting older, I guess. Okay, so let's regroup and try this battle again. Because now we're at -11%. I'm not happy about that. But we're going to start winning sieges. We're going to turn this around. Mostly, I'm just sticking with this video at this point to just keep, like, having these fucking kids, or having this assassination attempt possibly work. There we go. Now they're scared shitless, because we've got a huge army compared to them. So let's try this again. And again, we've only played, like, 4 in-game years. Okay, good. We might be able to kill him here. The child, that is. I might lose this battle again, but eventually we will get them down. Sure, yeah, marry whatever, I don't care. I don't give too much mind to marriages sometimes, which can fuck me up. The fool hunter lost his nerve and refused to kill King Carloman. At least he decided to keep quiet. Okay, so again, I'll try again. I seriously want to make this happen in this video. I know some people are like, Northernlion is getting so boring. Get over it! It's Crusader Kings. We're gonna have some fun here. My king, your court chaplain, has accused me of heresy. Sure, I'm sure he's not a heretic. Whatever. I got bigger fish to fry right now. Might take us another year. Okay, here we go. He's going out on a trip again. We're sieging some lands. It's going well. We're turning this war around. Once they give up, oh my god, he lost his nerve again. You are the. How much am I paying you to kill this 6-year-old child that is my blood grandson? Anyway, let's just let the siege happen for a while. Again, I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. This is the longest Let's Look At I've done in a long time. Can you tell that I like this game? I'm a huge fan of this game. Coffee got cold! That's how long I've been playing this for. Okay, again, these guys are calling me to arms. I could join them in their wars. They'll like me for that. But at the same time, you know, I've got bigger fish to fry at this point. And We lose prestige for not accepting, which is why my prestige is really low right now. But hopefully, once we win this war, you know, things will be better for us. So they're sieging me. The technique you really want to learn is like winning your sieges and then getting to the enemy to stop theirs before they can actually succeed. That will help you out. Oh my god, we're gonna lose this battle. These are like the most well-trained troops I've ever seen in my entire life. Winning your sieges and then stopping the enemy from winning theirs so that your war score goes higher. Oh, my niece. All right. I don't know why. Sure, we'll send her off to the dungeons. I mean, why not? Oh my god! Aged 2 years old. After a successful siege, your men drag Sybil Etichnon out of her hiding hole. Off to the dungeons with her. All right, well, I guess we have no other option. We're sending a 2-year-old girl off to the dungeons. Kate does not look impressed with that. I don't have any other option. Sometimes, you know, the king's got to make the tough decisions. So let's try to stop their siege before it succeeds. It probably will succeed. Yep, there it goes. So they're going to continue, like, amassing good war score against us, which is really shitty. We actually just lost a siege in Evero as well, which I guess is right here. So I should probably split up my army. I could micromanage this better, but again, I'm not really paying attention at this point. I just kind of want to get this grandson killed, and then, you know, I can fight this war entirely with mercenaries if I have to. I don't want to necessarily, but, you know, I've got enough troops up here in this army. To probably, oh my god, I keep losing sieges. I could just acquiesce and give them or like allow them to have their demands, but obviously I don't want to let that happen, because if that happens, you know, I'm gonna lose like almost all of my territory, and above all else, my country's gonna look real fucking stupid and shitty. Oh my god, our plot failed again. Okay, well, you know what? I still want to definitely. Oh, who's the heir? I'm the heir now. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Our last ditch effort. I want to arrange an assassination. Oh, it's gonna cost $350. Do we have prisoners? Let's ransom some prisoners or banish them. 10 gold? 10 gold. How much for this 2-year-old girl? 26 gold for this 2-year-old child. Okay, fine. We're not gonna have enough. Okay, here's what I would do. I'm gonna stop the video, but if I was gonna continue onwards, what I would do now is just like do an assassination attempt, because apparently our son died, but we can do an assassination attempt on this grandson, and maybe, because we're the heir to Aquitaine now, we would get all of this Aquitaine territory. In any case, let's retire now. We haven't really accomplished, resign, I should say. This is Crusader Kings 2 and Crusader Kings 2 The Old Gods. Highly, highly recommended. Again, if you're a little bit wary about grand strategy games, you never played one before, pick it up on sale. It's on sale right now for $10. It goes on sale fucking constantly, all the time. That's great, by the way. And the Old Gods DLC seems awesome so far. Just the ability to add like an extra, or like another 200 years basically to the game, extends it by like 33%. And it makes it very interesting because it's a part of Europe that I'm not, Europe looks totally different, is maybe a good way to put it, than what it looks like in 1066, and especially what it looks like now. Huge fan of Crusader Kings 2. Very immersive, very addictive, unlike any other game that I've played, notwithstanding other PDS titles. As always, link in the video description to pick it up on Steam. You can also pick it up on Gamersgate, which is Paradox's own digital distribution portal. But in any case, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video informative and maybe a little bit entertaining as well. And as always, I'll see you next time.